Rise and shine on Australia's Vision Christian Radio.
Monday's podcast. Good morning, everyone, or afternoon. What time do you reckon people are listening to the podcast?
On average, I would guess afternoon/night.
Do you reckon? Okay, well, good evening, good night.
Yep. And it was a jam-packed show today, Phil. So much going on in the world, so much going on in Australia, and I think we touched on most things.
Yeah, we tried our best. And look at this football, a huge weekend of footy. So we don't spend the whole show on it because not everyone, like we're a national show. And the two teams that won or were the favourite, they were both from Queensland. So didn't spend the whole show on it, but there is some talking about football, which I think we did quite well considering neither of us are big footy people.
Well, I'm not a big AFL fan, no, but 4 million people watched the game. That's a lot of people.
Well, I did watch it, but sort of I was up at South Bank, which is on, if you're not familiar with Brisbane, you've got the river and then there's this awesome, where World Expo was there and they've transformed it into shops and parks and there's a beach and it's really cool. And we happened to be there and the game was on everywhere. Yeah,
it's similar to South Bank at Melbourne, actually.
Yeah,
it's the same concept, riverside, restaurants, cafes. So if you know Melbourne, you'll know what we're talking about. But yes, it was a really enjoyable show today, Phil, for me. So hopefully you listening to this podcast will enjoy it as much as I did.
Thanks for streaming the Rise and Shine Daily podcast. Please subscribe to the show, rate it on your favourite podcast platform and share the link on your socials. It all helps get the word out.
Good morning. It's Monday, the 29th of September. You're waking up with Rise and Shine. Just looking at my week, Andy. If you want to do something in September, you've got to get it done. There's only 2 days to go.
Oh, you mean the month? I can't believe that.
I know.
Still feels like August to me.
It really does. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Phil. How about you?
Yeah, very good. Had a wonderful weekend, but good to be back with everyone. Wherever you're listening in, good morning.
Phil, it was a jam-packed weekend.
Yes.
We can't lie.
We can't lie.
There was a lot going on across Australia. We'll try and cover it all this morning, but I feel exhausted. I feel like I need a weekend, to be honest with you.
That's right. Off you go then, Andy. There'll be lots of people waking up with probably a bit of a croaky voice, some big games of footy. I'm not normally the one to sort of start that off, but there were some huge games of footy. I even got to see a little bit of one. I was at South Bank on Saturday night when, the Lions took it home, their second back-to-back final. It's very exciting.
Yes, the Brisbane Lions AFL team did win the flag, as they say in AFL land. I must confess to you, Phil, you don't come across as the biggest footy fan in Australia. I haven't seen you wearing a scarf or a beanie in winter, showing your support for your team.
I was at Kmart yesterday. They were discounting all of the Lions fan merch, and I was like, should I buy one? Imagine if I wore that in. Andy would be so excited.
I'd be very impressed.
But I didn't spend my $5 on the discount.
But if you started wearing that, I might start doing little hand passes to you in the studio and bring them a little Sheridan football. We can practice our hand passing.
I would be all over that. Yeah, only because I did Auskick with the kids growing up after school, and at one point I had all three of them.
Yep.
And the mums have to, or the parent, you're supposed to have a parent per child. Well, I was hand passing my little arms off trying to get three kids to pass the ball. Oh my goodness! So I can do that. That's the one thing I can do.
Okay, well we'll keep that for next winter as a potential activity. But yeah, big weekend. And look, in Andy's life, my daughter turned 20. Well, she had her 21st birthday on Saturday night.
I want to hear about that.
So that was a big event in my world. Another reason to be a little bit tired today.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to put a song on for you, Andy. On the other side, can you tell us all about that? Because a 21st, very special. I'm hoping there's some tears involved from you, Andy. Can we... No?
Did I cry?
Oh, no, don't tell me now.
I think I cried when I paid for it. And then on Saturday night, I'm thinking, what else could we have done with this money?
Oh, no. That's so
maybe
funny.
Something else. I don't know. Something a little bit more permanent maybe than a party.
Oh, dear. Oh, we'll hear all about that.
Rise and shine on Vision Christian Radio.
Prayer and a Bible for me, yes. Two vital ingredients to a good life.
I was talking to someone at church yesterday and they were talking about, I've got to go home and check on my dog. I was like, my dog is fine. It's got Vision on. It's listening to Phil Edwards. Going through Sunday morning together. My dog is in its happy place. He'll be fine.
Oh, so you don't leave Vision Worship on for the dog?
Nah, it gets the full Vision.
Okay.
Well, if you're listening on DA, if you are listening, our new EV car,
yes.
She has DAB, digital radio. So for the very first time, I've seen how Vision looks on a digital radio thingy.
How good's that?
And I was like, you might not know that we have other, if you're listening on DAB, you might not realise Vision has got Vision Worship and V180 and
Vision Kids.
Vision Kids. So if you go through the app, you can see all these other options too.
You can play with it, yeah. I mean, sometimes I used to, when we got a little puppy, it was distressed outside because it was missing its mum. I used to play classical music to it through my outside sound system just to calm it down.
Did it work?
A little bit of Beethoven, a bit of Mozart. Well, it was a very cultured dog, let's say that. By the time it became a fully grown dog, it was very cultured.
Put on a top hat.
Appreciated the finer things in life. But speaking of the finer things in life, Phil, I got to tell you, so Saturday night, my daughter had her 21st birthday party.
Oh, beautiful.
So, and we were talking about this before. Why do we celebrate 21st birthday parties? Do you know why, Phil?
No, I'm imagining it's American, I'm going to say. I don't know. Because they can drink at 21. I don't know, Andy.
Well, let me talk you through it, Phil. In the
Okay.
Middle Ages, you couldn't become a knight until you were 21.
A night?
A knight in shining armour.
Really?
And so that obviously
cool.
also brought with it many legal rights for adults. And so in the Middle Ages, the 21st birthday party was a really important time because you could be knighted, obviously you could go into battle, and that gave you various legal and political rights as well. So that's where our origins for our 21st birthday parties come from.
Well, I do love that. Look at you, Andy. You're educating me first thing on a Monday morning.
I'm all about education, Phil. All about education.
But it was Bella's. So we both have a Bella.
We do.
Both our oldest daughters. And your Bella, I did see some beautiful photos on your Facebook page of your 3 kidlets and yourself. So you've got Ryan,
Yep.
Emily, and Bella.
Bella.
And Ryan looked like the spitting image of you, actually, Andy.
Well, he was my mini-me.
He was. He looked adorable.
Because he had a shift. He works a local pub and restaurant across the road from where we live, and he finished at 5 p.m. Party started at 6.
Oh, no.
He's come home. He's like, Dad, do these jeans look all right? No, Ryan, they don't. They don't. Everyone's going to be dressed up. Oh, okay. So in the end, long story cut short, he wore my suit.
Oh, good. Well, he did look just like you. I was like, oh, this is like a younger version of Andy.
Well, a better version.
If it's possible.
It's been described. He's been described, Phil, as a better looking version of me, and I'll take that. I want him to be better than me.
Of course.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And how was the party? Take us through. How was it as a dad? Like, because I haven't got to 21 yet. Was it emotional?
Yeah, of course it is. Look, it wasn't actually her birthday, so her birthday was last week. But
Sure.
look, you got to take the wins in life. You got to take the positives. So one thing about Bella, she's always chosen good friends.
Okay.
So I always liked her friends. It must be awful, I suppose, if your kid makes terrible friends, and every time you see him, like,
Sure.
oh, there's that loser again. But all of her friends, and it was an all-girl party, which I loved. Every dad loves that. And all of her female friends, they're just all, smart, switched on, they're ambitious, they're kicking goals. A lot of them are studying law already in different degrees, and, one's a model, and they just got a sense of direction and, I guess, focus to their lives. They're well-spoken. She's got some great friends. So it was good to see all of her friends there, and some of them gave speeches, and it was nice. Yeah, it was nice.
Is there because it's a coming of age moment, and I think there'd be a bit of pressure on that speech, the coming of age speech. What are you like? You're pushing them up out of the nest. I don't know. Some parents you feel like they're pushing them out of the nest. How was that for you?
Well, the venue, Phil, didn't lend itself to speeches. So it was sort of like a bar-y, sort of a restaurant-y thing in a place called New Farm in Brisbane.
Beautiful.
And there was only 30 guests, so she didn't have the whole place booked out.
Okay.
Luckily, because it would have cost like 10 times as much.
That was enough.
But they kind of curtained it off for functions. So although people were giving speeches, and myself included, there was a lot of background noise, and it wasn't really conducive, and there's no sound system.
Oh, that's harder.
So, my speech was short and sharp. And I just pointed out 2 things from her life that stood out to me from her childhood, that she was always very happy as a baby. She used to crawl around with a big smile on her face.
Aww.
And she's always had a caring heart. So I just highlighted that, and I said, that's who you are, Belle. And as you journey into adulthood now, your challenge is going to be authentic to who you really are. You were born to bring joy, and you were born to care for people and to love people. And as we all know, Phil, as you become an adult, you can be, you can make other choices. You can live for yourself, and you can sort of suppress that joy that God's put inside you and pretend, you don't even know God. The world pressures us to be like that. So, like all of us, Belle's challenge will now be to live an authentic life.
Yeah, beautiful, Andy. But it is one of those moments, isn't it, when you see your kids jumping in and being adults for the very first time. Like this, she could become a knight now, apparently.
Well,
so there you go.
let's hope not.
If only she.
Let's hope not.
But it has got me thinking, my kids are in Japan, and that's, for me, I can see them navigating for the very first time things without mum and dad close, although I'm getting a lot of text messages, but that's good. I love that.
Yep.
But it has made me think about what are those moments, those adulting moments, those milestones where you've gone away, or perhaps, I know you went to PNG, Andy, and that I went to Bible school, and I was talking to Mills. There's kind of those moments in life, like a line in the sand, where at this time I felt like I had to adult. And it's a big one.
Yeah, it is. And it's a really good question. Like, what made you grow up? What made you become a man or a woman where you knew you kind of stepped over that line from being a child to a man? You know, there's a famous, you speak about PNG, I was there when I was 20. There was a famous battle in PNG called the Battle of Milne Bay, which you may or may not have heard of. First time the Japanese were defeated in World War II by Australians. And the first Australians to face them there were young guys from a place called Stanthorpe in Queensland here, who were like militia reservists, and some of them were young boys, 18, 19, 20. And I heard one of the survivors say that. He goes, yeah, well, mate, when you go into battle, boys quickly become men.
Yeah.
Life changes. You become an adult. You're suddenly responsible for your own life, and there's an enemy there trying to take you out. So, yeah, there's pivotal moments in all of our lives, Phil, where we do. Boys become men or girls become women.
I would love to hear from you this morning, 1-800-316-316. What was your coming-of-age moment, that time when you knew you'd grown up?
Brought to you by the generosity of Vision family members across Australia and around the world. The Rise and Shine podcast.
And it's the Monday, Phil, after the AFL win on the weekends. The Brisbane Lions took down the Geelong Cats.
The Lions running riot in the MCG sunshine, roaring their way to back-to-back flags.
Amazing scenes as Brisbane get it done.
There you go, Phil.
Big moment. I mean, there was over 100,000 spectators, 4 million views through streaming. This is a game that everyone was watching.
And I don't want to somehow turn it all about myself, but right now, Phil, I just want to remind you, who did I predict would win, Phil?
It does help that you're, yes.
I came from a scientific approach.
I did say
I said,
that,
I've never seen a cat afraid of a lion.
Yeah.
And I just can't imagine a cat beating a lion at anything. Now, I looked at it biologically. I said, surely the lion's going to win. Surely.
Well, we're sorry to the Cats fans, but it's big news, and to be back-to-back. So who else would we want to talk to, Andy?
Well, former Brisbane Lions player Sean Hart, he also won the best and fairest during one of their grand final wins. He was in Melbourne for the game. His name is Sean Hart. Sean, welcome to Rise and Shine.
Thanks, Fel and Andy. It's great to be on again.
Mate, obviously a big win. You are a former Brisbane player. You're going to have some bias, but you are a Victorian boy originally, aren't you? You grew up in country Victoria?
That's right. Born in Melbourne and then went to the country very early in my life. So, yeah, definitely spent some great time in Victoria. But, no, I actually would consider myself a Queenslander these days.
Oh, there we go. Well, tell us about the match. Tell us what your feeling was, because it was kind of swung. It could have gone either way by half-time. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. It was a cracking game, the sort of game that every fan wants around Australia to watch after half-time. And I think it was 1909 that the last time that the scores are level at half-time in a grand final. So it's amazing. It was just a fantastic, tight, tough grand final. Zach Bailey, of course, was very struggling a lot to kick goals. He probably could have been easily Norm Smith medalist, I think, by the end of the game if he had been able to slot a few of those early ones. But that kept the game nice and close, and it was just a real trench warfare type of game where no meters were given, it was very low scoring, given that these two teams know how to score quickly.
Yeah, Shawnee, can I ask you, mate, just as a casual observer, I've never pulled the jumper on, I've never put the shorts on and taken a mark in an actual game, but it looks to me like these guys are just freakishly good athletes now, better than they've ever been before. Like, I remember as a kid I used to watch AFL, like one of my uncles played for Carlton, and I'd watch it, and there was a lot of high marks and a lot of long kicks, but the guys didn't look as fit as they do now. Was that a fair call? Would you say these guys today are even fitter and stronger and faster than in your era about 20 years ago?
Oh, it's a really difficult one to compare. You know, they like to try to compare and say which is the best team of all time and how would this team go against this team. I think it's pretty difficult, Andrew, to compare, but I do think that I watched the game myself. I do think there's a bit of me that agrees with you. The skill level, the ability to retain the ball, I think under enormous pressure, just seems to have elevated a little bit more. These teams are so good at being able to possess the ball. We were probably a bit more quick, long and direct, and we would win the ball in contest on ground or in the air a lot more, but they just seem to be a bit more like that. But I'm not sure about the fitness one. I think we were incredibly fit team, probably through fitness tests. You can only measure it, I'd imagine. But I tell you what, this Brisbane team is one express, uncomfortable, hard-working team, and so I think they just steamroll teams eventually because they just have a group that refuses to go away from their process.
And they've got, is it right, 8 players aged 22 or under. So they're quite a young team. And then to have this experience on top of that youth, those youthful legs, I imagine it bodes well for the future for them.
Yeah, Belle, it's actually ridiculous, the demographic of that group. There are those older guys who are going to finish up in the next year or two, of course. Even Zorko going into 37 in 40 days' time or something is quite amazing, 50 days' time. So he looks like he'll go around next year again. But you're right, there was 2 players in their first year yesterday, and that is almost unheard of, I reckon, that a grand final team can have 2 players in their first year. I know we had one, Robbie Copeland, back in our day, but that was just ridiculous. And even the big guy Logan up forward, Logan Morris, second year, 2 years, playing, and it might be 3 years actually, but 2 years in a row, grand finals, a 19 and a 20-year-old. Yeah, just ridiculous. And then the Norm Smith medalist, Will, of course, is only 21 now, I believe, 22 maybe, something like that. So, crazy young group who have just got a huge future, and the culture of the club is just so impressive. They do seriously work hard for one another.
Yeah, and mate, what a great spectacle for the game itself. And as we said on Friday, it is, I think, Australia's only truly national game. We've got 2 teams in Perth, we've got a team in Adelaide, a team in Sydney, or a couple. There's a Brisbane team, there's obviously multiple Melbourne teams. And, I think millions watched it on TV. We had more than 100,000 at the ground, and it's such a well-run game, even at the grassroots level. Sean, I know my kids did a bit of Auskick when they were younger, and you just notice it because, my kids did every sport possible, but the AFL Juniors has run so well. There's such a great grassroots campaign that you can only see the game getting bigger and stronger in Australia, I think, in the years ahead.
Yeah, it's so true, Andrew. It is. It's an incredibly well-run game. I really wonder why rugby, rugby's still a popular game, but why it hasn't copied a few of the things AFL does better because, the game, you've got to be proud of the AFL game being part of it and the way it is administered into the junior levels, and the growth of numbers, particularly in Queensland, to be honest, has just been outrageous in the women's space also. So it's a very exciting game, and I totally agree with you. It's just so professionally done, so well run. The whole lot of it it's not just about the top level football. There's a lot of great stuff that happens at grassroots and local level. I'm still involved in that myself, so I realise just how well our game is run across Australia.
Oh, Sean, thank you for joining us this morning. I think the real winner is sport, isn't it, Andy?
AFL especially, yes.
With no matter who you're barracking for, to have that much excitement. I was at South Bank and I could see there was so much excitement, everyone crowding around TVs watching the end of the game. So, Sean, thank you for joining us on Rise and Shine and giving us a bit of an update. Hopefully you get a bit of a rest now and some respite in the off-season.
I sure will, but everyone loves a winner, Belle, that's for sure. We know that. So,
yes, that's true.
The Lions, and who knows, and maybe another three-peat will believe some greater things next year again.
Amazing.
Let's see, mate. Well, thanks for checking in from Melbourne. This is Sean Hart, former great for the Brisbane Lions team. He was there in Melbourne on the weekend. Thanks again, mate, for joining us on Rise and Shine.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me Vision's breakfast show is now available around the clock and on demand? Incredible! The Rise and Shine podcast. Rise and Shine.
Are you ready for a challenge? Listen to the mystery sound, correctly name the Bible story, and win a great prize. Sounds easy, but is it? Rise and Shine's Bible Story Sound Off.
That's right. We have a time machine here at Vision. It zips back in time.
It's in the garage now, though, Phil. I don't know. I'm a bit tired. I can't fly the machine. If we fly that machine today, I could end up at some pyramid in Egypt somewhere and never come back, Phil. That wouldn't be. It'd be ugly.
Well, let's keep that in the under wraps then for today, and we'll play the sound that we had last week. So there's a brand new sound. Alison and Doughboy got the last one, which was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace. This is a brand
with
new
the fourth man.
With the who's that fourth man? I'll tell you who he is.
There you go.
There's a great sermon that my husband loves about that from Jerry Saville. But here we go. Let's have a listen to where we are today with the sound. There's not a lot of it.
Not a lot, but enough.
Tomorrow we'll fly it and get a bit more.
There's enough there to use the knight in shining armour analogy, which we discussed earlier in the show, to have a stab in the dark at it, Phil.
So you lance it.
Like a knight with its little sword, having a little stab.
His little sword. I'm sure no knight ever called
Actually,
his sword
massive
little.
sword. Massive. Have a stab at it. There we go. Let's have another listen, Phil.
There we go. Well, we do know it's in the Bible. I'm trying to think if we've given any other clues so far. No, that's it. That's the only clue we've given. But I think we're still at double prizes because it's just so hard still.
It's definitely double prize territory. Well, this is what it isn't, Phil. Let's have a listen to what it's not.
Is it the Pharaoh's chariots racing through the Red Sea chasing the Israelites, maybe?
I wonder if it's not the millstone that Samson was pushing when he was in captivity.
The good guesses.
They're very good guesses.
Yeah. So you know it's not those two, but it could be any other Bible story. That narrows it down to maybe 3,000. I don't know. There's a
We
lot of Bible
guarantee
stories.
that sound you heard earlier is from a Bible story. I'll give you one more listen, Phil, for our listeners at home.
Right. This is the time to call
The Rise and Shine podcast.
Standing by. Ali, what do you reckon it might be?
Oh, just a silly another guess.
Yeah.
I thought, what about the moving the stone, rolling the stone over the tomb?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that
Are you
is
talking the
very
tomb of
good.
Lazarus or the tomb of Jesus? Which one?
Pardon? When Jesus.
Jesus.
When Jesus.
Jesus.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
So
the
when the
big one.
angel rolls it away. Yep.
Or over. Either way, does it have anything to do with the stone at Jesus's grave?
Very, very good guess. Because, at the tomb of Lazarus, they also had to roll the stone away because Jesus said, roll the stone away.
He's going to be smelly. That was their main concern.
So I just want to get some clarity there before. Well, he was supposed to be, but he was smelling great.
He smelled great. He was alive.
Hey, here we go. Is it right? Is it wrong? Are you the winner today? It's double prize day. Is it right?
Come on. Oh, no, Ellie.
So close.
But I love that you're having such a good go. Well done.
We're caffeinated and ready to face the day. This is Rise and Shine on Vision.
You're waking up in Crystal Brook, South Australia. A big good morning to you in particular, listening along on 87.6 FM. Now, it's in the mid-region of South Australia, about 200 k's north of Adelaide. You'll find Crystal Brook. Couple of interesting things here. One, firstly, it was initially spelt, I reckon, a mistake. So Edward John Eyre in 1839, he found some lovely springs that was feeding the area.
I love springs.
You do.
I just love
a
the
spring?
thought of springs.
The sound of it.
Yeah.
Just the name, a spring.
Ever sat in a warm spring too? It's so nice.
Well, he spelt it Crystal.
Okay.
Brook. Well, it's Crystal Brook now, CRY. So it's changed. But it's also got a big thing. We love a big thing in
Yes,
Australia.
we love a big thing.
What do you reckon? Okay, Andy, it could be anything in the world. You're not going to get it. That's probably why I like this.
I'm going to say the big earring.
Oh, that is random. Yes, I'll give you random. It's not. It's a big goanna.
I love that.
I don't know.
I never would have
They're a
guessed it,
bit-
but I love it.
When you see a big
A big
goanna,
G.
they're actually a bit scary. Those massive
They are.
goannas. They have them. We sometimes go for a picnic near a spring, and there's these massive goannas, like a couple of meters long.
I don't trust them, Phil.
They are scary looking. So they love them so much that they've actually built a monument to them, which I don't know about
They
that.
love the
Crystal Brook.
goannas.
Come
Look, have
on.
you heard the story? Sometimes an alerted or a scared goanna will run up you like a tree. It thinks you're a
Oh,
tree.
no,
It
Andy,
runs up
don't
you and it
tell me.
claws you. No, but the old bushies will tell you, Phil, the way to escape that fate is you lie down on the ground. So if you see a distressed goanna running towards you,
Okay.
it's thinking you're a tree. It's going to
Okay.
climb up you. So lie on the ground prostrate and they won't climb up you.
They might go for your
That's
back.
an old bushy trick, an
Is
old
it?
Aussie bushy
Save
trick.
your
Yeah.
face.
Yeah, so if you've seen a scared goanna, lie down.
Okay.
You'll be okay.
Thank you, Andy. Well, hopefully you don't need to do that in Crystal Brook today. And your weather is about 17 degrees right now, heading to 34.
Wow.
Feels like summer there.
That is warm.
That is hot today.
I'm sure our listeners in Tasmania are going, wow, how can it be 34 degrees this time of year? Well, it is.
South Australia, they're showing you how
There
right
you
there
go.
in Crystal Brook.
Well, here we go. I'm in Proverbs chapter 4, Phil, still talking about wisdom because there's just so much in here. It says, I've taught you in the way of wisdom and I've led you in right paths. Here's another benefit of wisdom, Phil. When you walk, your steps will not be hindered. And when you run, you will not stumble.
How good is that?
It's very good.
Ask for wisdom and you'll get it. That's what the book of James says. You get it from the Bible as well, which is where we're heading next. We're in the book of John. And coming up this hour, we've put the call out. What are those moments where you knew you were adult, where you grew up Andy's daughter Bella turned 21, had her 21st birthday over the weekend. So we're asking the question, hey, when did you really grow up? What was that moment of becoming of age? 1-800-316-316. We'll also be chatting about Police Remembrance Day this hour as well.
It's the daily podcast of your favourite Aussie breakfast show, Rise and Shine.
And this is the time of the day when we always jump in together to just do a quick Bible study, sort of like we're gathering around a bit of a fireplace and having a chat.
It's a little bit like that, Phil, but it's getting a little bit warm for the fire, so I
not.
won't play the fire today, Phil.
No, 34 in Crystalbrook today, so they
go.
don't need more heat in that part. But it is heating up the story here. We're in the book of John together, and so if you're unfamiliar with the Bible, don't worry, it's easy to get started, and that's why we're doing this book, actually. The second half of the Bible is called the New Testament. It's the pieces that were written after Jesus had come to earth, so that's God's Son. So Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John tell the story of Jesus from bird's eye accounts, from people who were there.
That's right. And look, Phil, every now and then we get to a part of the Bible which is a personal favourite. This chapter is a personal favourite of mine.
Oh, well, kick us off then, Andy.
For so many reasons. Because it's a story where Jesus and his disciples are walking somewhere.
Yeah.
He's hungry. He sends the boys in to get some food. He comes to a well and there's a woman there. And I just want to step back from the actual interaction and the actual words used. This is an example for me, Phil, that Jesus had the ability to be normal.
Right.
Everyone say normal right now where you are.
Normal.
There you go, normal. Because I think the challenge, to be honest with you, to be a Christian, is to have the ability to be normal around people who aren't yet believers. Okay. Sometimes we get weird when we don't need to get weird. Now, I know God does unusual things at times, but let's call a spade, Phil. Some Christians just act weird when they don't need to.
Okay.
And Jesus sits down at a well and just has a normal conversation with a woman at first and draws her in. Right. And what does he say, Phil? He says, oh, give me a drink. You know, he doesn't say, oh, did you know Isaiah said this? Or did you know that Exodus 24 verse 13 says this? He just says, give me a drink.
Yeah.
Now, she's at a well. She's getting water. This is her world. And they start a conversation. I just think she just thought he was just some dude sitting there who wanted a drink.
True. And unusual, actually, because she could tell he was a Jewish man. And this is the story of the woman from Samaria, Samaritan woman. And in the Bible, there's a couple of times Samaritans come up, and there's clearly some friction happening. And if you go back to the Old Testament, you can see that there's some history there, right?
The Jews looked down on the Samaritans.
Yeah, they weren't besties.
No.
And normally the Jewish people, they would walk around Samaria, even though it's kind of right in the midst of them. It would be the shortcut would be going through Samaria. Most people would go around. We see Jesus going right through the middle, which shows you the heart of Jesus for everybody. And he sits down at this well, and when he tells her, hey, can you give me a drink? She's shocked just because he's A, having a chat with her, but B, he's actually engaging with her and asking her for help. And she's like, would you touch water that I've kind of pulled up? And he's like, oh, yeah, please, I'm thirsty.
He's being normal.
He's normal.
He's being normal.
It's pretty cool.
Because it's a way to build bridges with unbelievers is just to start on normal stuff. Just be normal. You draw them in. And then, of course, later on, you get spiritual in your conversation and hopefully lead them to the Lord, or at least sow a seed for their salvation. Now, of course, we all know, Phil, this story does hot up. God starts to move towards the end in an incredibly powerful way. But I really want, I guess my big takeaway today, Phil, and I'm curious to hear yours, is that Jesus had this ability to just be normal around people, because there's other stories in the Bible where the Bible says he went to houses full of sinners. These are party people. They're heavy drinkers. They're sleeping around. They're living a life that's not godly. And yet Jesus wasn't there like some prudish little priest in a gown looking at them horrified. He was there just hanging out with them, eating with them. He knew what they were doing. He knew they were sinners, but he loved them, and he was drawing them to himself and drawing them to the Father. And many of these people repented and became believers. But in the first instance, Phil, sometimes we've just got to have the ability to just be normal around people, just love them, accept them, and smile at them and welcome them to ourselves. And then we can welcome them to our Lord and our Savior.
How cool is that? And you see a transformation in this woman that as Jesus reveals himself, and he actually says quite openly, I'm the Messiah, I'm the one that everyone's looking for. Once she gets a revelation of that, we see that she becomes an evangelist.
Yeah.
She is very quick to go back to town and tell everybody about it. Jesus uses this wonderful woman who's had a tough past. And we see quite a few women with tough pasts coming through his ministry. And yet there's a transformation that happens as they get a revelation of who he is to them. They are sent out and they do great things in the name of Jesus. Here we see a whole city. In fact, she and then the city ask for Jesus to stay a bit longer, and he stays a couple extra days.
You're right. I'm just thinking about what you said before. Yeah, there's a lot of rough blokes who get saved in the Bible, and like Paul's one of them.
Yep.
And like you said, I haven't thought about this before, but a couple of rough Sheilas as well. So, Jesus was into the roughies, wasn't he?
Yeah, and then he transforms them, and they're powerful vessels. Like you see, so Paul, he writes, if you go through Acts, you can read sort of his story, and he writes a lot of the New Testament. But he was super rough. Like he was actually he was going out to get the Christians, has a revelation of who Jesus is to him, a change of heart, becomes a new creation, and as a result, incredible things come through his life.
Another roughie, Phil. I like that.
It's not too late, is it?
A roughie for Jesus.
A roughie for Jesus. No matter what you're thinking, if you're sitting there today and you're like, oh, I've had a tough trot. This woman's had a tough trot. You hear Jesus says, well, the Holy Spirit tells him, there's been 5 guys and there's another one and not even married to him. So there's tough stuff happening.
She's a roughie. But we'll dig into her story more tomorrow, maybe.
I reckon.
But that was my first takeaway. I just love just seeing Jesus just be normal. And I want to be like him, Phil. I want to be normal enough around unbelievers that they feel comfortable enough to stop, to pause, and maybe even build a relationship with me where they can listen to some of the things I say, that I can lead them to Jesus, hopefully.
Right. Well, and as they get a revelation of who Jesus is, he can then transform their life. How good is that? We don't have to be transformed before we come to Jesus.
Yeah.
He does it.
And I was a bit of a roughie too, Phil.
Were you? I'd never have picked that.
Just quietly. A little bit rough around the edges.
We love it. But the best place to come, is the Bible. So if you've never done it before, I encourage you. John's a great place to start.
Such a good place.
You can do that through the Vision Christian Media app. There's a free Bible on there. If you click down the bottom, there's a Bible, or, you can look them up online or get a physical one. I love a physical Bible. But have a read.
You found the podcast of Vision's breakfast show, Rise and Shine.
So, Phil, we've been talking about 21st birthday parties after my daughter turned 21 on the weekend, how in the olden days, in the Middle Ages, that was the rite of passage for a man to become a knight, and that's why they celebrated the 21st birthday. And we asked people, have you had an experience of how someone's become an adult? Maybe a man or a woman, doesn't matter, but what was the thing in their life that really made them grow up? And on the line, I can see we got Brendan from Cairns. Now, Brendan, you and your son experienced something in San Diego, of all places, which was a really pivotal time in your son's life.
Yes, guys. Yeah, good morning. Actually, I took both my sons over to San Diego in 2019 and to the Emerge conference from Awaken Church. They had around 3,000 men go to this camp for 3 days. And at the end of the camp, it was phenomenal. It was just mind-boggling how good it was. But at the end of the camp, they did a rite of passage for the young men. And the rite of passage was phenomenal. It was brutal.
Brutal? Okay. Yeah. Well, tell us about that, Brendan. What is this brutal rite of passage activity?
Well, it made the boys do something physical. Well, over the years, they've done different ones. The course that what our boys did was this mud course, and which pushed the boys to the limit. It wasn't like a mud course that you do, just do a little track, takes you about 5 minutes. It took them about 45 minutes to an hour to get through, where they had to go through obstacles, climb walls, go through mud, go through water, go through obstacles. And at the final end of it, they were exhausted, and a lot of the guys actually wanted to give up. And it was interesting. I was talking to Pastor Jurgen, and he said the guys that felt like, the boys that always felt like giving up, he says they were the ones whose dads wasn't there.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. That is big.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And then, but Americans are like, he swarmed like an army full of grey soldiers, like grey-haired soldiers that would stand along the course.
Wow.
And just encourage the boys. Yeah, like, you can do it. You can get through this. It's going to be hard. Get up. You can win. And finally, at the end, they had to climb this little bank. And at the end, there was like a wall of men with all these pads on, like big pads, like football pads. Mm-hmm. And on the pads, it said fear, depression, anxiety, all these different sort of things. And the boys had to bash their way through.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't easy. They had to just run through it. But half these guys that were holding the pads were NFL players.
Oh, wow.
And they didn't make it easy. So if a guy tried to come through a bit half-hearted, the boys, the guys holding the pads, would push them back,
I
and
bet
they'd
they
have
love
to try again. Yeah, it was terrible. They were exhausted. But it would take, sometimes it'd take the kids about 3 or 4 attempts to get through.
Wow.
But when they got through, the fathers or some older men would be on the other side, and then they'd give the boys these dog tags.
Wow.
And you put it over their head, and then they'll pray over them and say,
Cool.
now you're no longer a boy, you're a man.
Yeah.
And this is not something that we just give. You have to earn it.
Nice.
Now, mate, I think also from memory, San Diego, that's where one of the Navy SEALs bases is. And I think you mentioned Pastor Jurgen, it's his church. He's got a number of ex-Navy SEALs in his church. So this course is actually designed by some of these guys, isn't it?
Yeah, full of them. That's how it started, I think about 10, 15 years ago. Started with a conversation with a Navy SEAL about doing a couple of exercises, and it just built. Now I think they get 3,500 men. And a lot of my mates from Australia have gone over there, and it's so worth it. It's such a good thing.
Do you notice a difference with the boys at the end? Like if you saw a boy who'd gone through the course, is there a change?
Well, what I noticed is that my boys didn't take their dog tags off for, I would say, nearly a year.
Yeah, wow. They
That's
really
good.
value it.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, we need more of these things.
Well, I think what I'm hearing, mate, is that, let's be honest, in the modern world, we give kids a lot of stuff, and there's always almost this sense of entitlement, like I deserve this, I deserve a graduation ceremony in grade 6, even though I didn't want to go to school, but hey, I've graduated. But you're talking about something where they've actually got to earn it and they've got to work for it. And I think in traditional cultures, that was always the case, wasn't it? Whether it was an initiation ceremony or you became a warrior. I know in ancient Greece, until you could actually sit in one of the warships and row the warship, you weren't considered a man. You couldn't vote in the democracy there. So it sounds like Jurgen's invented or created this course or this weekend where boys literally have to pass a test to become a man. I love it, mate. I love it.
Oh, it's good.
We're sending Andy over.
Yeah. Andy needs to go there.
I do need to go.
But I like the fact that Luke 9 says for us to pick up our cross.
Yeah.
It doesn't say pick up your pillow.
Oh, come on.
Or your screen.
Preach it.
Your iPad screen.
No, you're right, mate.
Brendan,
you're right.
that's great.
Or your little blankie.
Your pillow.
Just pick up your
teddy. Your rabby.
Yeah. And I think, especially in today's world, we need men of courage. We don't men that are soft.
Yeah, we do, mate.
Men that are courage to protect our women, to protect our children. That's what we want to raise up strong men, and that's what emerges a lot too.
Yeah, and also to lead our churches. As we know, a lot of women have significant roles in churches, which is wonderful, but a lot of the men need to step up in our local churches as well. But speaking of churches, Brandon, we know who you are. You're a pastor, mate. You pastor the C3 Church in Cairns. You're a man's man, and just so everyone knows, Brendan played 99 first-grade games of rugby union in Sydney for the Warringah Club.
Cool.
Also played for New South Wales a couple of times. His ears show it, Phil. He's got very unattractive ears. He's had his head in one too many scrums.
Not.
But, mate, you are a man's man, Brendan.
That's from my wife.
Oh, that's from his wife.
From my wife.
Chewing them off. No, but, mate, honestly, I've always respected you, Brendan, because you are a man's man, mate, but you're also a full-on Christian as well, and you're serving God up there in your local church context. So thank you so much for giving us a call today and having a chat about this incredible thing that you took your 2 sons to in San Diego. If someone's listening, Brendan, and they want to go to it, what's it called again?
Emerge.
Yep. So just Google it.
Yeah.
The Emerge Conference in San Diego. It's on every year. And it could be a nice little overseas trip for someone to take their son to. But Brandon Giles from the C3 Cairns Church, thank you so much for joining us today on Rise and Shine.
Thanks, guys. You're the best. Check out the rest.
Thanks, Brendan. Oh, there we go. Well, that's a pretty impressive coming of age.
I do remember his ears, Phil. You would love his ears.
Really?
They're very, very attractive ears, yeah. Well, in union, if you put your head in a scrum a lot, your ears just get all smashed up. And he's got those ears.
I've done it. I've been in the middle of a
you've been in a scrum?
I've been in the very middle. That was
tell
one of
more, Phil.
Well, so I grew up in New Zealand, in Wellington, and that was everyone plays union there. And I remember being like 5, 6 and being like, I'm in the middle of that scrum. I volunteered for the position.
Wow.
And being sitting right in the middle. I still remember the feeling of everyone else, the team around you, and you're trying to play for the ball with your feet. And
I'm surprised the boys let you play, Phil.
well, they didn't let me. Okay, so this is off topic, but we also played soccer. They were the two sports.
Okay, but was it a boys team or a girls team?
Oh, I think it was everyone just having a crack. Like I'm sure.
I was only joking. I thought it was a female rugby team you were playing for.
No, there were boys in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, I'm all for it. Bring it on, I say.
Always encouraging and always fun. Rise and shine on Vision.
Well, today, Phil, it is actually National Police Remembrance Day, and we want to honour the boys and the girls in blue today by really acknowledging them and the incredible work that they do.
On the 29th of September, the policing organisations across Australasia will come together for National Police Remembrance Day. It is a significant day for policing. It is also a day for police to thank the community for their ongoing support. It is a time to honour our fallen colleagues and renew our commitment to always remember them.
So I thought it'd be nice, Phil, if we spoke to a chaplain to the police today. So we've got Artie Shepherd with us, who says he's got the best job in the whole world. He's a police chaplain providing 24/7 pastoral care and spiritual wellbeing support to the men and women in blue, as well as their families, the police academy recruits, and also retired police. And Artie Shepherd joins us on the line today. Welcome, Artie.
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, Artie, I love that. You think you've got the best job in the world. Tell us.
Hands down.
Okay. Well, pitch it to us. Tell us about your role and how this is the best job in the world.
Oh, look, it's an absolute privilege to serve the boys and girls who serve our community so well. And that support looks different on any given day. That can be, just proactive, building bridges of connection and relationship so that when things do go sideways and the world goes to custard, then if I turn up, I'm a trusted face for them. It's any incident response. It's caring for people, supporting people through some of the worst experiences that any human could possibly have. And ceremonies and funerals and weddings and spiritual care. It's so varied. On any given day, you never know what is going to happen.
Yeah, and Artie, I was really surprised talking to a chaplain for the Ukrainian army of all things last year, and I was surprised he said it's so needed and necessary. The people in the front lines in the Ukraine really value their chaplains, and I know it's the same with police forces now. But is the police chaplain a new role in Australia, or have we always had police chaplains?
We've had them for a long time. I think what we've seen, even just in the recent years, is the awareness of the role that we provide and the value for the role that we provide has really escalated. And we have in Queensland, with the Queensland Police Service, we've got an amazing cohort of chaplains right across the state. They're just great people. They're the right people in the right place at the right time. And we're able to provide that support and be there and, just be around the troops and build that connection. And so, that they do. They really, I've been really surprised coming into this. I've been really surprised at how much they value what we provide and the connection there. It's a real privilege to do it.
I'm so glad. And Artie, can I just say, our hearts today are with the police and serving officers and their families across the country, as we've got others who are leaning in today, and there's this opportunity to recognise the incredible contribution. And it's scary at times, I'm sure, that they're sending their families out. What can we do to best recognise and help those who are going out and serving in the front line on our behalf?
Yeah, great question. On a day like today, specifically, with National Police Remembrance Day, if people know of or can find a ceremony that's happening in their local community, they're more than welcome just to turn up and attend. This is like our version of Anzac Day, if you like. And so it really says a lot to our policemen and women and, sworn and unsworn members if members of the community just want to be there and show support. So that's one thing. I always say to people, if you want to make a copper feel really awkward, just say thank you to them. They don't know how to respond. They're just not used to being thanked for what they do.
Yeah.
And
Do you think, Artie, that would be applicable while someone's being arrested as well? Just a little thank you, just sort of...
Or a ticket, Andy,
just to surprise them.
Ticket?
Yeah, or a speeding ticket, yeah.
Well, yeah, and, if someone's not a fan of the police because they got a speeding ticket, the easy answer is just don't speed.
It is a simple solution, Artie. I'm going to write that one down, actually.
Just write that down, Andy.
Taking notes.
Don't speed.
But Artie, honestly, and it's not just, obviously you're based in Queensland, but every state in Australia has a support network and chaplains and so you obviously aren't a former police officer, but you've come in as a Christian with a heart to serve, and so even you've been surprised at just how much the serving police and even former police value the work of the chaplains.
Absolutely, and we're there for every member of the service, regardless of faith. So all our chaplains are Christian ministers, but we serve every member of the service, so people of faith or no faith.
I wonder, Artie, if we could finish off with prayer for our serving policemen today. Artie, would you like to lead us in a short prayer for our serving policemen across Australia? Can I just encourage vision? Let's lean in and let's pray for our policemen and women who keep us safe.
Absolutely, and I guess that's the other thing that people can do. If you're asking what can people do to support our police, absolutely pray. They need all the help they can get. So, Lord God, I just thank you today, right across this great nation of ours, for the men and the women who serve our communities to keep them safe, to protect, to provide support in the most horrific of situations. And for each one of those serving members, the sworn members, the unsworn members, God, we just agree together for your grace and your goodness, for your favor and your blessing, for your protection upon them, upon their families, Lord, that you would give them peace and encouragement. And on this Remembrance Day, that they would know that there is a God in heaven who is for them. And God, that they would just have a sense of your goodness at work in their lives. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Hey,
Praise
thank you
God.
so much, Artie. This is Artie Shepherd. He is a police chaplain full-time and says he has one of the best jobs in the world. And thank you for giving us a little insight into the work you do and also just helping us to pause and to remember the men and women in blue all across this great nation of ours in every state and even the federal police as well. Artie Shepherd, thank you so much for joining us today on Rise and Shine.
Pleasure, guys. Thank you.
Love the Rise and Shine podcast? Tell a friend today.
Well, Phil, we've been talking about rites of passage, becoming an adult, whether you're a man or a woman. We've got someone on the line. His name is Chris. He's a farmer. Chris, have you got a story to tell us about how you became a man from a boy?
Oh, I guess I'd look back to my growing up days. I've on a property, on my father's property, with three brothers. I was schooled at home via the correspondence for my mother. There was always a fight between doing our school lessons and going out and helping Dad. So as soon as we could sort of had the physical ability to help Dad, we were out there doing all sorts of things like mustering and, from a young age, fencing and all those things. And, I'm just I think that was the real grounding, of understanding. I know it is about farming, but I think understanding a lot of things about life and resourcefulness.
Chris, I'm keen because Andy was telling us that when you used to be 21, that was when you could become a knight. Was there something on the farm that you'd been aiming for that you're like, this age I can go, or when I'm this strong I can go? Is it mustering with Dad? What's the thing that makes you like, this is it, I've made it, I'm a farmer now?
Oh, I think when you're given responsibilities.
Okay.
I was always given the responsibility. I eventually went to boarding school. On school holidays, it was always me who took the cattle from one station to the other.
Cool.
So,
Wow.
Dad just assigned me that, and that was probably, when I was maybe 12.
Cool. That'd be 12 years old. That's a big responsibility. I've got a 12-year-old, and that's popping.
So I've been driving cattle and, on my own, with my horse, things like that. So, but there's a lot of other skills, there's a lot of mechanical skills and that you learn on a farm. Things break down and you have to fix them.
So the key word here, I think, is responsibility. So you think it's when you are given responsibility and you actually accept the responsibility and you take ownership. Chris, did you apply this in the life of your sons? I know you had several sons as well, you said. So did you do the same for your sons when they were growing up?
I think there's a term that we often hear that people have farming in their blood, and despite my life as a clinical professional. You know, I had farming in the blood. So I actually, my wife, Helen, and I had 5 sons, and I bought a farm down at Inverell, and because I really wanted to bring up my boys on a farm to gain the same experience that I had.
Mm.
And the other thing with that is that you can be with your children doing this stuff, you know, so much. Our children always came home. If they weren't at school, they were with a parent, either my wife or myself. They were never in any other sort of care. And, you know, so it was 2 things. One, it was the skills and responsibilities growing up on the farm, as I had, and it was the fact that you had a lot of contact with your parent, because I was mostly home on the farm, and when the boys came home from school, we would attend to some sort of jobs or maybe just even sport on our tennis court.
Cool. It sounds like coming of age happens pretty early on a farm. I wonder, Chris, and I don't have any farming in my blood, like I'm going to put it out there. Could I muster? Do you reckon if you were doing it at 12, how old do you reckon it's too late for me? Could I jump on a horse? Would the cows follow me or whatever they do?
Nothing's ever too late. But there's a lot of instincts, and I don't know actually where it comes from, but, you know, I mean, I can hop on a horse now and look good.
Okay, so right.
Even though I'm 80 years old and pretty crippled up.
And you prefer the quad bike now, but you still could sit on the horse if you had to. Yeah,
I'd do it on a bike.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff is instinctive. Like it's a problem with my sons. You know, you do these things on a farm that you learn to do, and you forget that it's sort of all instinctive.
Yeah, right.
You ask somebody else to do that stuff, they're just all at sea.
Yeah. No.
Very good.
And you don't realise, you know, you've just learned so much. You know, because you're doing so many things, and there's no textbook.
No,
and you have to be innovative, and you have to sort of observe and learn to think and learn to answer the questions of life.
Yeah, it's so true, Chris. And, you know, I know so many stories of kids brought up on farms, moved to the city and start a business or something, and they just do so well because they've learnt those skills of self-reliance, hard work, finishing tasks that they start. So it is a great grounding. But, hey, Chris, I want to thank you so much for sharing with us your journey of life and how you took on responsibility as a young man and you gave that to your sons, and that was part of your rite of passage. Hey, have a great day, Chris, and thanks for joining us today on Rise and Shine.
Thanks, Andy. Have a good one. God bless. Bye.
Hey, thanks so much, Chris. Hey, loving all these chats about rites of passage.
Responsibility, Phil. That's my takeaway from that call.
Is it?
Responsibility.
Okay, well, we've got kids coming to this stage of life, so I'm taking notes, Andy.
Just the right mix of things to inspire and things to make you smile. Rise and shine on Vision.
Well, can I just say, you might be a bit excited because both codes have won their respective games over the weekend. We've got an AFL Premiership side, and now the league team, the Broncos, are heading to the finals after a very exciting game on Sunday.
Here we go.
This was the Broncos yesterday.
Band of fans on his right boot. Reynolds kicks it, take a bow. Brisbane in front with 3 to go.
I would love to be the commentator. Reynolds! That's so cool. It was just a big story, though, because they were behind. So at halftime, I had a lot of people saying, we're not watching it because, you know, we're going to lose and Brisbane's going to lose. 14-0, they were trailing at halftime, and then Brisbane come home. A great comeback.
It's a big comeback. Do you think they were listening to Danny Goki's song about comeback? At halftime, you think the coach just played Danny Goki? Okay, boys, everyone quiet up. Let's listen to Danny Goki.
To the DG.
He's all about the comeback.
He's all about the comeback. And Reynolds, who hadn't played, I think since August, he's coming on to take the final kick. Like, that would be, it's pretty, so everyone in Brizzy, there's a lot of excitement. There
is a lot of excitement. Even I watched it, Phil. I did preach yesterday in a 2 p.m. service in a church. I got home around 4:35 and I watched the last 20 minutes. I always like looking in the eyes of athletes before games, before fights, like boxers. I can usually tell if a boxer's going to win a fight by looking in their eyes before the fight. And when that Reynolds was about to take that kick, they needed that kick to win. He just had this super focused look in his eyes, and I just thought, he's going to nail it. And he did. He actually nailed it.
They were zooming around the crowd and I could see the coach. He looked like he was praying. I was like, this is probably the one time in their lives to go for some of the coaches.
Right. It's okay to pray.
It looked like he was doing a little prayer there. But they did win. And look, the weather in Vegas today, 18 degrees heading to 31.
And if you are a Brisbane supporter, and I know Brisbane has supporters all across Australia, not just in the town of Brisbane, well done. Your team is in the grand final. And our condolences to Penrith, who were a great team this year as well.
How awesome have they been? That was going to be 5 in a row. So, I mean, kudos. That's amazing.
Yeah. They breed them tough down in Penrith, Phil.
Obviously.
They certainly do. Well, I'm in the Bible in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 13, still talking about wisdom. Take firm hold of instruction. Do not let go. Keep her, for she is your life.
How good is that? Instruction, wise instruction. You have to hold on to it, don't you? That's really what that is about. Because there's so many things to distract us, to drop the ball. Oh, there's a football analogy.
Phil, you're all over the footy today. I should have brought a footy in, Phil. I should have been giving you little hand passes, little bullet passes, I would have covered all the codes. But look, we're talking footy, and the Australians lost to the All Blacks on the weekend. Nothing new there, Phil.
Well, I go for the All Blacks, and Murray says, when was the last time you knew they were playing? I just don't. Only because I grew up in New Zealand.
Well, it was a Bledisloe Cup game, and Australia has not won the Bledisloe now for more than 20 years. The Kiwis are owning the rugby union, and deservedly so. They are a great team. A great sporting franchise. They just produce great players.
Well, technically, that's my team. I have to watch a game.
Have you got black socks on today?
No, I didn't even know. Murray did say, do you even know when they play? And I was like, no, I don't know when they play. But anyway, hey, this hour, there's a lot to cover.
So much.
We have been talking about those moments where you stepped from being a kid to an adult. When did you really have that coming of age moment? We're also going to check in with Mike Foster. He's the managing director
of Answers in Genesis.
Of Answers in Genesis, because they were told they couldn't have a stand at the Royal Melbourne Show. Now they do. We're going to find out how it's all going. But coming up next, Andy, I want to hear about, for you, when was that coming of age moment?
Well, it's coming, Phil. I'm hoping it comes maybe this year.
We're all in prayer. Well, we'll see the steps towards it.
National Day of Prayer and Fasting.
I've heard of all-day breakfast on the menu, but here's a brekkie show available 24/7. Thanks for streaming the Rise and Shine Daily Podcast.
Andy, your daughter Bella had her 21st, so it's got us thinking about, those moments where you go from being a child to an adult. I can think of when it is in my life, as we've been talking about this morning. I was thinking about, hey, when was it for me? I reckon that this is the moment. I'd moved away from home. At 19, I got an opportunity to go on a scholarship to Bible school.
Oh, wow.
So I moved away. They had some student quarters across the road from the church.
So hang on, you moved from where to where?
So I moved from Brisbane to the Gold Coast.
Okay.
But at that point, to get home, I'd have to take public transport. It would have taken me about 2.5 hours.
Was it horse and buggy in those days?
Pretty close.
How long ago are we talking?
It was a while ago now. But it did take a long time to get home. So it kind of felt like it may as well have been the other side of the world.
Might have been Siberia.
I didn't go home very often. So I'd moved away. I was living with these couple of girls who I didn't know from a bar of soap. And I'm living across the road from the church that I'd never been to before. And suddenly now I'm at Bible school. And I had, the moment was I had to make myself dinner. So I moved away from home. I've got a bag of rice, and I think, I don't know how to cook rice.
Oh, really?
I didn't have a clue.
You'd never have to cook.
I'd never had to cook rice.
So Mum didn't sort of take you through that rite of passage of, okay, Fel, you need to cook dinner tonight.
Well, she got me to bake, so I could bake.
Oh, nice.
I could make
Cookies?
you a slice or a cookie.
Oh, nice.
No problem.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, Mum.
Well
done.
sort of.
That's good training.
When it came to dinner time,
I'll tick that box.
I wanted a bag. I wanted some rice and fish or something. I didn't have a clue. And I remember thinking, this is an adulting moment. And that was kind of the beginning of stepping up and into, being an adult.
Well, it did get us thinking, didn't it? Because, obviously my daughter turned 21 on the weekend, or at least celebrated turning 21. And, it reminded us that in the Middle Ages, knights were not allowed to become knights until they're 21. So that's why we celebrate the 21st, because in those days, you weren't a proper adult until you're actually 21. I think the first Anzacs in World War I had to be 21 too to volunteer. Now, some of them cheated and lied about their age.
Did they?
That was before photo ID. And some of them, I think the youngest was 14. The youngest guy in Gallipoli was 14. And it's because his dad tried to enlist and he was unwell. He wasn't physically healthy.
Yeah.
And he was so embarrassed. It was a different era. He was so embarrassed. He felt ashamed. And his son stepped up and said, "It's okay, Dad, I'll go."
Oh.
Pretty sad story, died as well. So he stepped up for his dad on his behalf because the family felt a sense of shame that Dad couldn't go. Yeah. It was a different era in those days. It was an era of pride and men and women took pride in their word, in their commitments, and they loved their country. They were willing to sacrifice their lives for their country.
Sad.
Yeah, and that kid, he didn't die in battle. He just died of sickness. A lot of the Anzacs on Gallipoli died of illness because, they're just living in these really unhygienic situations. Your toilet is a trench. A lot of really bad diseases there. So, sadly, that young kid died of disease.
Wow, that's terrible.
Mm.
For you, Andy, though, if I'm thinking back through, I know a little bit about the life of Andy now, getting there.
And you're praying and fasting that I become a man one day. I don't know, Phil. I kind of like this
reckon?
Peter Pan stage I'm
You're
in.
happy to be a
I
kid
love
forever.
being a Peter Pan.
But in reality, though, there were some moments I feel like I could tell the story for you. But
Don't you think I'd look good in a little green Peter Pan outfit, though?
Oh, no, don't
Come on.
put my mind there.
I love the Peter Pan outfit.
Andy, I don't want that in my mind. Are you telling me? No. Last week it was like, what AFL outfit should I wear? Andy, it's all good. It's all good.
Anyway.
Oh, dear. Did you have a moment, though, of coming of age?
I've had several moments, Phil. But yeah, like you, I went to Bible college when I was 20. And through a long story, which I won't tell you now, I ended up in Papua New Guinea in Bible college.
Yeah.
I was going to go to Sydney Bible College, and these missionaries from PNG came through our church. They did the hard sell, and I really prayed about it, and I really felt God sort of impress my heart with this sort of thing. I could go to either. They're both good.
Yeah.
But PNG will be better.
Well, and it's harder.
Well, I didn't know that at the time. I was young and dumb.
What does a Papua New Guinean hard sell look like? I'm just trying to imagine.
Well, T.L. Osborne, a famous American evangelist, had just opened the Bible college. He was friends with the missionaries, and he had tricked his grandson, who'd just been saved a year or two earlier. His grandson ended up in jail. He went off the rails, got saved. So Granddad, T.L. Osborne, says, why don't you come to PNG with me? I'll pay for your flight. And the grandson said, yeah, great.
Yeah, why not?
Gets there, and T.L. says to his grandson, you need to stay here a whole year. Okay. I'm going to enroll you in the Bible school. And this American kid had no idea he was going to be left for a year
really?
in PNG. So that was the sell, that if you go there, you'll be with T.L.'s grandson. You won't be the only foreigner there. You guys will become friends. Hey, you might even get to know T.L. Osborne through this one day. Who knows?
Well, and his son, that was a coming of age, wasn't it? Like a dropping in it.
That's right.
Like, here you go. You need to become a man. I'm just going to pop you here for a year.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. But it is, though. You're in a new culture, a new context, a new country. You don't have all of the supports that you've kind of might have been, like we're talking about those things that were buffeting, keeping you there.
Oh, totally.
It's great.
And for me, I was part of a church. I'm a big believer in the local church. So my church sent me, and they said they'd support me financially.
Oh.
Not with a lot of money, but I forget how much it was. But here's me, young and dumb. I get there, and I really am praying one day, and I feel in my heart, you know what? I'm going to say to my church, don't support me. I want to live by faith.
Okay.
I had no money.
Wow.
And I had to pay the Bible college school fees at the end of the year, which I hadn't paid. And I just thought, that's an exciting thought. I'm going to live by faith.
Wow.
I'm going to just believe God for everything.
Well,
that
that's
included
adulting.
all they gave me in the morning was a bread roll and a glass of cordial. And then I think there was one more meal, which was like tin fish, rice, and greens, like spinach, every single day. And so it was just 2 meals a day, a bread roll and one main meal. So, and most of the students had friends and relatives in the town. They're called one talks in Pinji. So they'd go to their one talks houses for food when they were hungry. I didn't have a one talk. So I had to pray and ask God. And that sounded exciting when I said that. And I wrote the letter to the church saying, hey, don't send me any money. I'm good. And for the next year, Phil, I had to really learn how to trust God. And it was hard.
Yeah. The coming of age.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm loving hearing that, Annie.
Really?
Well, yeah, no, it's
You
exciting.
love the thought of Andy on his knees praying. Let me talk you through my breakfast, Phil. So I managed to believe God for some money one day, and I had some Wheat Bix. And so what I do is and then I got some powdered milk, living luxury. So I'd put my Wheat Bix in this bowl, and I'd make the powdered milk up. And in those days, I liked sugar on my Wheat Bix. I had no sugar, Phil. I couldn't afford the sugar.
Yeah.
So I'd sprinkle the powdered milk on my Wheat Bix. That was my sweetener, and I'd have that every morning, and that was my breakfast every day. And I had to pray for the money just to buy those Wheat Bix.
Well, it is, and that's all part of the adulting, isn't it? Like I remember even at Bible school in Australia had the same. I think I was living on $50 a week for everything, and that was all the bills, everything you could do. And so but that's part of becoming an adult, isn't it? Like you learn.
Well, you grow up.
You learn a lot through that.
And then, I went to a lot of villages and a lot of rural areas and, again, young and dumb. I'm playing soccer in a village, with the national captain of the PNG soccer team. We're playing the local village team. Everyone's laughing at me because I'm hopeless. I'm not a soccer player. I hadn't played soccer since grade 6. And anyway, I drank some water in the village, which you should never do, but I drank this village water and got hepatitis and malaria at the same time.
Andy.
And I literally almost died from hepatitis and malaria. And my big takeaway from that, and God healed me eventually, was that, you know what, if I die, God's kingdom will keep growing. He doesn't need me. You know what I mean? Because when you're young, I think the world kind of revolves around you. And I think my biggest growing up moment was realising that I'm just another one of the billions of people in this world. The world doesn't revolve around me. It revolves around the Lord. And that actually helped me grow up a lot when I realised I almost passed from this life to the next, Phil. But in doing that, I think I grew up a lot.
Wow. Wonderful. Well, thanks for sharing your story, Andy. Hey, we are going to keep going with Rise and Shine this morning. Coming up, if you've got a story about that coming of age, give us a call, 1-800-316-316. We'd love to hear from you as well. Coming up next, though, we've got Mike Foster. He's the managing director of the Answers in Genesis. They've been at the Royal Show and he's got some testimonies for us. Coming up next on Rise and Shine.
Subscribe and listen to the Rise and Shine podcast in the free Vision app. It's easy and available everywhere.
On the line, Phil, we have Mike Foster. He is the General Manager of Answers in Genesis Australia. We spoke with him last week, do you remember? Because the Royal Melbourne Show tried to block him from doing an outreach at the show. They've had a win there. Woo-hoo. He's on the line now. Mike, you've got some updates for us from the Royal Melbourne Show.
Absolutely, yeah. So the team's been in full swing since Thursday, and we've been getting in the testimonies of some of the conversations. And, it's been brilliant. It's amazing.
So tell us, for those who missed last week, what's happening at the show? What have you got going on at the Royal Melbourne Show?
Yeah, so look, the Melbourne Show tried to cancel the Good News tent after 108 years. We at Answers in Genesis launched a campaign and thousands of people wrote a petition. They reversed the decision, gave an apology, and you know what? Even an atheist signed the petition.
Wow.
And yeah, he says, look, I don't believe what you believe, but you guys should have a right to have a tent there. So,
awesome.
So we are there. And look, the testimonies are flowing in already. So we have had a huge response already. We're having some powerful conversations. The team on the ground has been writing little testimonies each day, blown away. We had one lady, Olivia, who just said, look, she just needs to get back to God. Mm-hmm. And she said, look, I think it was on the Friday, she said, look, I want to get back to church. And then she came back the very next day and said, right, I'm going to church. Tell me a church to go to. So we think, I haven't checked with the team yet, but we think she went to church on Sunday. We can't wait to hear the conclusion of what's happened with Olivia there.
Isn't that amazing? Let's just stop there. I mean, if that's all that happened from the Good 100%. News tent, it's worth it for that one soul, isn't it, Mike?
Well, that's exactly what I've been thinking. Even just hearing these handful of testimonies already, even if it was just for Olivia or maybe just for Janine, who said that she's been brought back to God after the Charlie Kirk assassination, and she listened to a full gospel presentation and was really eager. Her heart was open to Christianity. We think, if that's the only reason that this Good News tent was able to get back up and running, then that is worth it just for those two.
And that's what I'm wondering. Because you think the Charlie Kirk effect, we're calling it, because there are so much in social media of these little clips of him answering tough questions. Do you reckon that people are more hungry or more willing to come up to the tent and have a chat, possibly because they've seen these other interactions with Charlie Kirk and his team?
Oh, look, I really, really think that's the case. In fact, one of the people reported, one of the team members reported, they've been talking to people from Iraq, Iran, Turkey, Philippines, Holland, like they couldn't believe it, and God's just using everyday Christians who don't have evangelism, a whole big evangelism skill set to go down there. We've got the tools on the tent and they're just having conversations with people all around the world. And I think part of it is this Charlie Kirk phenomenon, which is, so amazing, just that openness that's in the community right now.
Just incredible. So just talk us through it. For those of us who won't make the Melbourne show this week, we're in different parts of Australia. Do you guys have a marquee up and a big table with lots of literature on it and some nice friendly faces? Tell us what it looks like on the ground.
Yeah, so we've put up a big banner and it's we're actually using the "Are You a Good Person" as sort of a bit of a draw. And so, it's a person looking at two paths, basically, which is really the gospel. And look, none of us are a good person. None of us will get to heaven because we're a good person. And so we sort of lead people through, a bit of a test to find out. And no one's passed it yet. We know one man 2,000 years ago did pass the test. Yeah. There is a report, a guy from Nazareth, Jesus Christ, did actually. He did pass the test. And no one at the show currently has.
But another cool thing we've got at the show is we've got these wristbands that we create, and they're these beautiful coloured wristbands, particularly for children, but anyone can get one. And as they build the wristband, each colour represents a different facet of the gospel. Yes. And so they get a gospel presentation. So it's really cool.
Mike, you take me back to childhood. That's what I used to do at Sunday school. That's so cool.
Yeah.
The same ones.
It's the same thing.
Do you do this song with it? My heart was black as sin until my Saviour came in. Is that the one?
I think we'd be banned again if they heard me singing at the show while we're doing that.
You want to write a song?
Remove the singing element.
You've taken the song out.
You might get cancelled all over again.
Have you thought about bringing it back, Mike? Have you thought about that?
No, but Phil, they've already been cancelled once from the Royal Melbourne Show. We don't want a double cancellation in 1 year.
There's a song that goes with it. That's so good. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, but it's really encouraging, Mike, to know that you guys are on the ground, and I think it's really a metaphor for the current state of Australia. There is a spiritual battle in Australia right now. You guys have had to fight to get there and to stay there after 108 years, and you're there. Yeah. People like Olivia and different ones are finding their faith in Jesus again. And if you are in Victoria and you are going to the Royal Melbourne Show, look out for the team. It's called the Good News Tent. They're there with their smiling faces and their literature, and go and say hello to them. But Mike, thank you so much for the update. We might catch you later in the week as well, because these testimonies are great.
Yes,
I love hearing stories of people finding Jesus for the first time. But thank you for giving us some of your time this morning on Rise and Shine.
Hey, Andrew, can I just mention we've still got our third training night this Thursday at 7 p.m.
Great.
And it's just going to equip people to do easy stuff like share the gospel at a gospel tent or just with a friend. So if you just go to answersandgenesis.org and you click the big banner at the top, register. We've had hundreds and hundreds of people on the call, so it's been so much fun. Don't miss out. We've got 5 of the top evangelists on that call, so you're going to get all the best, tips and strategies on how to share your faith easily.
I love it. We might have to get you back to share some of those tips.
Yes.
But if you need a song, My Heart Was Black, I've got it. We're ready to go.
Thank you for that.
Awesome. Okay, so that's answersingenesis.org. Learn how to share your faith. Learn how to evangelize. Mike, once again, thank you for joining us today on Rise and Shine.
Thanks, guys.
Brought to you by the generosity of Vision family members across Australia and around the world. The Rise and Shine podcast.
Beat the toaster.
And it's the time of the day where we get our toasters out. We cook some toast, and while we do, we play a bit of a game.
And it's always good fun,
Phil. It is. 60 seconds on the clock. We've got 10 questions, and you have to answer them all with the same letter. We've got people around the country yelling at their smart speakers at this time of the morning.
And there's no shortage of brave contestants willing to step up and embrace the challenge, suck up the pain, and just try and get those 10 questions answered within their 60 seconds. And one of those people is on the line right now, and her name is Belle. Belle, welcome to Beat the Toaster.
Good morning.
Belle, thank you for jumping in. Tell us, have you had your brekkie yet, Belle?
No, I haven't had my breakfast this morning.
Gutsy call, can I just say? Gutsy to play without it. If you'd had your brekkie, what would it have looked like?
I'm on a little stint of boiled eggs just at the moment with homegrown avocado. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and a little bit of butter. That's it. Nothing else.
Look,
where does the butter go?
Where's the butter?
Well, just on the egg. Hello.
On the egg? You're buttering the egg.
I like that.
Yeah, because it's hard boiled. So you chop them up with the avocado, like avocado mash. And
it's a mash.
Nice touch, Belle. Nice touch. I'm hearing you. I'm feeling you today. I love it. I love it.
You've got support from Andy for your breakfast
butter on anything. I'm a big believer in butter.
Really?
Keep those cows employed, Phil. I love cows.
Do you love a cow?
People are starting to hate on cows. I love cows. I'm putting it out there right now. I love every cow in the whole world.
Do you?
Yes, they're good. They bring us milk. They bring us butter, cream, and meat. It's all good stuff.
Animal.
And they smell good.
They smell good.
They
Exactly.
smell good. Cows?
Yeah. When they're chewing their cud, they smell beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hearing you, Belle. Hearing you, Belle. Belle, you sound like a winner to me. Phil, have we got 10 questions for young Belle?
I've got 10 questions. We're going to start with B for Belle, because we're in B. How hard can that be? B's a good letter.
And you know the drill, Belle. You've got 60 seconds to answer these 10 easy questions. That's about 6 seconds per question. Are you ready, Belle?
Okie dokes, let's go.
Because your time is about to start now.
A children's character.
Barney.
A musical instrument.
Pass.
A TV show or movie.
Oh, heaven. Pass for now.
An item worn above the waist.
A beanie.
Something with a tail.
Oh, wow.
You can do it.
A burrow.
A name of a river.
Oh, wow. No, pass.
Something you see at the beach.
A beach ball.
An occupation.
What are those people called? A barista.
Very good. A 5-letter word.
Beach.
Something hot.
A beverage.
And we need something, a musical, number 2, musical instrument.
A banjo.
Yes. A TV show or movie. Oh, Brady Bunch is probably the one that we use the most
Brady
here.
Bunch. It's a story
Of a lovely lady.
who was bringing up 3 very lovely girls.
And the name of a river. Oh, look, there's a few. Brisbane River, Burdekin River. There's a few around, but those are probably a couple there. But you did great.
You
great
did
effort,
very well, Belle. Very well.
Imagine
we all scream when we're at home games.
Yes.
And we know it all, but when you're under pressure, it's like, who can beat that toaster?
It's a lot of pressure.
Look,
Not
Fel and I
I,
are scared of that toaster. I am anyway. I don't want to play the game. I think it's hard.
Kaz has asked us to play, and we're putting it off because it seems
I'm
hard.
scared of
Seems very
toasters in real life.
You're scared.
I don't like them.
Pardon me. Don't diss on a toaster. They're brilliant.
It's the anticipation of them popping up.
Oh,
you know,
I
like
see.
I don't be near them. I don't like them.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little personality insight into Fel. I pop the toaster up. I never really wait for it to get to the end.
That doesn't surprise me, Phil. Impatience.
You also
Yes.
have that toaster anticipation fear.
It's good to have the button, though, isn't it? That little button that does pop it up. But, you know, it is Police Remembrance Day, so I'm going to segue into this. You know, no one ever told me as a kid not to put a knife in a toaster.
Really?
True story.
Come on.
I don't know why. Mum or Dad just never thought to share that piece of wisdom with me.
That's very important.
And we had one of those police come to this classroom, you know, when they come to the classroom and they just sort of share stuff with you. And she was a police lady. And I remember she's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to answer your questions. So she goes, of course, I don't need to answer dumb questions like, should I put a knife in the toaster? Because we all know you don't do that. And I literally remember thinking, no one has ever told me that.
Really?
Thank you, officer. Thank you, police lady, because you may have just saved my life. It's a true story. She saved my life with a little bit of advice like
If
that.
you're listening at home and you've got a toaster, don't put metal implements into said toaster.
Correctamundo.
There you go.
But no one ever told me that. Maybe they just assumed I knew it. I didn't know it.
We're remembering all police today, and that's very impressive.
Just another example of why our men and women in blue serve our community in such a great
Praise
way.
God. Well, Belle, thank you so much for playing. If you're listening on at home and you're like, I could do that, yes, you could. Give us a text, 0447 488 316, and you could be playing tomorrow.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me Vision's breakfast show is now available around the clock and on demand? Incredible! The Rise and Shine podcast. Rise and Shine.
Phil, I thought it'd be nice to talk to a former police officer. So we've got Kenny on the line. Kenny served for 18 years as a police officer in the state of Queensland, both on the job, hands-on, also spent a few years in the police academy training new recruits. And he joins us now. Kenny, welcome to Rise and Shine.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Phil. Nice to talk to you guys again.
Oh, thanks for jumping on with us. I would love to hear the heart behind Police Remembrance Day.
Yeah, it's such a good initiative, I suppose, because it's one of those things where it's always in the back of everyone's mind when you're a police officer that you know you might not be coming home that day, or one of your colleagues, and it's just one of the most important things that you think about when you're on the job, I suppose. But it's good that we take the time out, I think, as an organisation and as a community, and just thank the people that have given everything for the service of the state.
Yeah, and you did it for 18 years, Ken. So you're saying that really every day you are a police officer, you do have that thought in the back of your mind. It's not like being a normal, tradie or a school teacher or something that you're coming home from work. Is it always there? Is it that potentially things could really go south while you're working?
Well, I suppose it's one of the reasons why you're doing a job like that is because for the variety. So you don't know what you're going to be getting each day, if you're operational. and that's one of the things that, I suppose is on the back of your mind. I don't know that it's in the forefront of everyone's mind as they go to work every day, but it's just a possibility. It's one of those things that can happen, and you get reminded of it, unfortunately, on a reasonably regular basis. So, and things can happen whilst you're working on the job where you think, oh, geez, if that could have gone really bad if, this had happened or that had happened, sort of thing. So you are reminded of it in relation to some of the jobs that you do. But unfortunately, sometimes unfortunate things happen to other officers, and you get reminded of it that way too.
Can I just say, Ken, thank you. My heart goes out to our serving policemen and women, knowing that they're going into danger every day on our behalf. That is just so touching. So just on behalf of us all, thank you so much for those 18 years for you and also your family. I'm just aware, what impact does that have on the families of serving officers, knowing that they're sending their loved ones into potential danger every time they go to work?
Look, thanks for that. My children were pretty young at the time, actually, so they weren't aware of those things, I suppose, those kind of dangers, and we didn't talk about that with them, I suppose. Don't want to give them anxiety. No. Look, it's just one of those things that I think people come to terms with pretty quick when you meet someone and you're going to have a relationship with them, and you're going to get married or whatnot, and you realise there's certain inherent dangers in that kind of a job, but it's the same as I might add too with, paramedics and other emergency services that, there's certain inherent dangers that are in that job, and you just got to accept that at the end of the day. It's just one of those things.
Okay, Kenny, so today's Police Memorial Day. If someone wants to show their appreciation to a serving police officer, like today, if they see someone, in the shopping mall or something, what's the nicest thing someone can say to a serving police officer?
Look, I think, police officers they like respect, I suppose, just as everyone does. And if someone wanted to just say, hey, look, thanks for your service or whatever the case may be, that'd be really, really nice. But it's not one of those things that, to be honest, that police expect. We just, I suppose what we do expect is just a certain level of respect from everyone. So it'd be good if we get that. I'm out of the job now, but if someone did want to say, look, thanks for your service on this day, it would be much appreciated, I imagine.
Oh, well, thank you, Kenny, and look, thank you for jumping on with us this morning, just giving us a little bit of a taste of what Police Remembrance Day is all about. And thank you for your service for us and keeping us safe.
No worries at all. No worries. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
A good chat there, Phil.
Yeah, it's a somber day. And as we heard earlier, the police today, a good way to recognise it is if you happen to see a service happening or you can get along to a local one, we heard that was something that would be meaningful to them.
And even just say thank you.
Yeah.
Go up and say thank you.
I've heard of all-day breakfast on the menu, but here's a brekkie show available 24/7. Thanks for streaming the Rise and Shine Daily Podcast.
You're in WA, you might just be waking up, so time to get up, time to get going.
Rise and Shine,
Starting
WA.
your school holidays. And if you're in Goomaling in Western Australia, I wanted to give you a very special shout out and do your weather for you. First off, though, Goomaling, where is it? About 132 k's northeast of Perth. And this time of the year, beautiful with wild flowers. Beautiful part of the world. I'm looking at these orchids and thinking my mum would love to be there. That's her favourite type of flower. I can't grow them. I'm terrible with flowers.
Have you tried, Phil?
I've just tried keeping them alive. Not even just these are already existing alive orchids. They die. I can't keep it alive.
You mean like in a pot?
In a pot. So someone else has done the growing. I didn't even have to grow it.
Are they an indoor plant or an outdoor? Can you grow them indoors or just outdoors?
Well, these ones are outdoors, but no, I've just tried the indoor, which should be easier. Yeah, no idea.
Well, maybe you could make a little project, Phil. You and Murray could get a little plot of ground in your backyard there and plant an orchid. Google how to look after an orchid, and I think together you could do it. I believe in you, Phil.
We could if we wanted to. And I think it's the energy. Where do we want to put our energy? Is that it? I don't know. But Goomaling, hats off to you for being able to keep them alive. 11 degrees right now, heading to 19 throughout the day. Hope you're having a wonderful day as you listen to Vision 88 FM.
And we are still in the book of Proverbs, Phil, and this is one of my all-time favourite verses. It's Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. It says, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it springs the issues of life.
Don't you get a cool picture of that? When you see guard your heart. That's actually, I love that verse. And when we're talking to our teenagers, we're like, you've got to be careful what's coming in because it actually, you have to kind of put a guard around your heart. Watch out with what's happening, what you're listening to, what media you're consuming. It's important.
And what you're allowing and what you're dwelling on.
Yeah, that's
what
right.
the attitude you're adopting in your life. That's how we've got to guard our hearts as well. We've got to decide to love, decide to let go, decide to walk in his grace towards others. That's always a big challenge when you're dealing with humans, Fel. It can be a bit tricky sometimes.
It really can. And if you're a football fan, and you might feel like that today, you're walking in love when there's, disappointment on one side is devastated because they've lost some football. The other side are ecstatic because they've won some football. Walking in love, that's the Christian attitude.
Yeah, you could be a Cats supporter today, Melbourne, and you see one of those annoying Brisbane Lions supporters walking around your city and thinking, these people are annoying me. Got to walk in love, haven't we, Fel?
Got to walk in love. We also love that we now get to hand over to the rest of the Vision crew for the day. We're leaving you in some very good hands.
Yeah, up next the story, and then we have 2020 after that. I believe Wendy Francis is hosting this week. She's always good, isn't she, Fel?
Love it when Wendy's here. So we'll be enjoying having her about half an hour from now.
She knows what she is. She's like the WWW.
What do you mean?
Wendy Wealth of Wisdom. Wealth of Wisdom, Wendy.
I can ask her anything and she comes up with an answer.
I think so.
Like the World Wide Web, but in person form.
If she doesn't know, she can Google it.
Oh, well, there you go.
She's a smart lady. She's tech savvy.
She is tech savvy. Oh, dear. Hey, we'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning. Whatever you're doing today, we pray God's blessing upon it. Have a wonderful day from Rise and Shine.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.